Okay guys, so I'm back and I am cooking up the chicken for Perso, my Great Dane's raw food diet. Now if you watch the other videos, you know that I grind up their chicken, bones and skin and everything. And what I have in here is the first grind of chicken, and this is what you get when I use the standard plate on the meat grinder. And I'm doing a second grind for Perso because I want to make sure that I get those bones as tiny as possible because I'm going to cook the chicken. So this is the second grinding plate that I'm using, and you can kind of see it's kind of hard with all the chicken smashed on there, but it's a bunch of little tiny holes. And when it comes out, it kind of looks like spaghetti. And so what I do is I have this big pot. It's actually used for canning and preserving. Right now I'm using it for cooking. And what I did was I took the second ground meat and I just formed it into essentially meatballs. I just grabbed a handful, kind of rolled it around, and I just dropped it into my bucket of water. There are 20 meatballs in here right now, and they're good sized meatballs. They're probably close to a pound each. And so what I did is I put all the meatballs in there, and then I waited till the water got back to boiling. Once it started boiling, I set my timer for 15 minutes. You can see I have about 4.5 minutes left. And this is my second time cooking this chicken, so I kind of, you know, have it down what I need to do and how long I need to do everything for. But I've been cooking it, and the first time I did it, what I did is I took out one of the meatballs and I just split it in half. If the inside was cooked, then I knew that 15 minutes was, you know, a sufficient amount of time. And like I said, you can see these are good sized meatballs. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell on, you know, the video, but they're good sized meatballs. And let's see. What I do is once they're done cooking, I'm going to put them in this glass dish over here. And then I'm actually going to put the entire dish with the meatballs in it into the sink, and I'm going to run cold water over it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I need to get the chicken to cool down substantially before I can put it into the containers for Perso's food. If I don't run it under hot water, or cold water, excuse me, then I have to wait for it to cool down naturally. And I would be here all night because I'm not going to cook the chicken and then let it sit, wait for it to cool down before I can put it in a container. So I just run it under cold water for probably about 5 minutes or so. And then once it's cooled down, I just take the meatballs out of the dish of water that will be in the sink. I just crumble up the meatballs into another container, and then I just scoop that up like normal, like I did with Snoopy's chicken, and I weigh it out, and I put it in his container. And he still gets a pound of chicken even though it's cooked. Now, with cooking it like this, you can kind of see over here the yellowish stuff. That's the fat from the chicken. And obviously when you cook it, the fat comes out. I mean, I'm sure there's still some fat in there, but not nearly the same amount as what he would get if it was still the raw chicken. So what I did was, the last time after I cooked the chicken, I saved the broth, which was mostly fat, and I actually put it into ice cube trays. This is what I had from the last time. I still haven't taken them out yet, but I put it into just regular ice cube trays, and I froze it, and then I put what I call fat cubes. I put them into Ziploc bags. And so now, with every meal, Perso gets 1 fat cube. I was doing 2, but his poops kind of seemed a little bit mushy, and I don't know if it's because of the fat cubes or because of the fact that I switched him from raw chicken to cooked chicken. But that's how I'm trying to get some more fat back into his diet, is by, you know, putting it into a cube, and then he gets 1 with each meal. And he loves them. He loved ice cubes before I did this, but now he really likes ice cubes because I imagine it tastes good. But yeah, so this is how I do Perso's diet. Granted, it's not technically considered raw anymore since I'm cooking it, but because of his because it's possible for him to have a compromised immune system, keeping him on the raw chicken was just kind of a gamble that I wasn't willing to take. And I only have to do this while he's getting chemo. He's gotten his first treatment already. The most treatments that they'll do for him is 6, and they do it every 3 weeks, so long as his white blood cell count looks good. So I've got up to 5 more treatments left every 3 weeks. So, I mean, what is that, 15 weeks or so? So I got maybe about 3 months of having to do this. But honestly, I'd rather cook his chicken and go through the extra step than switch him back to kibble, because kibble just was not good for him. He was allergic to something in it. So yeah, so this is what I do. Once I get this batch done and cooled down in the water, I'll go ahead and come back and just kind of show you guys the ending process for it. So my chicken's about to, or my timer's about to go off, so I am going to tend to this, and I will see you guys later.